What's up, guys? Mr. Music Fan here. Um, how you guys doing out there today? Well, tonight actually, because it's almost it's just past 5 minutes past 12:30. But anyway, I've just finished at the drive-ins discography review, which I started last month, and which brings me to my first point, among others, and and that's how am I doing? And what I mean by that is how how have my reviews been coming out to you guys? How have I managed how have I managed to articulate myself with with conveying you know my feelings, or conveying my view, not my views, but um my feelings about music, or about the albums that I have just reviewed. and and the reason for that is that, like, I've been watching a couple of, like, my entire discography review back to back, and I have noticed some screw ups here and there, which of course I'm bound to make. But um um but 'cause I find that I don't explain things in the most clear and most concise ways as possible. And like, I do feel a little bit iffy about that, because I mean, I really want to do this for fun, first and foremost, because like I said in my introduction review, I love music. Music is, you know it's one of the greatest expressions ever created by human beings. And this great outpouring of emotion with music, whether it's angry or sad or happy or whatever. But I feel as if I could do more of a better job in explaining my points more clearly. Um, if you guys look at my relationship of command video, I don't. It could just be me, but I don't feel as if I gave it my best, or I don't feel as if that I explained my points in the most clear, concise way. And that's also because I'm kind of running against the time, because my time limit for YouTube is up to, like, maybe 15 minutes, 15 minutes. And oftentimes, I try to kind of, like, race against the clock, per se, and try to get all my points in just 15 straight minutes. And yet I see other reviewers get their points across really, really easily, and very um, simple. But but so, with that said, I would just kind of like a little bit of more feedback, I guess, from you guys. Like, any suggestions that you can have, and not just for me as a reviewer, but also the channel too. Like, what more things I can do to make it more cooler, to make it more better. And um and just in a way, kind of improve the channel, whatnot. I know it ultimately falls onto me, because because I run the channel. But I would also like some suggestions of how I'm doing. If I do make a mistake, or if I do make um, um, small miscalculations on my part, then tell me. Let me know. And my inbox is open, and I'll be more than happy to reply to it. And and yeah, other than that, let's keep going forward. And the other point that I want to speak about really quickly is You guys probably more than likely know that this has happened, but in case you guys haven't known, um, in right after at the drive-in's performance in Coachella, um, during Snoop Dogg's and Dr. Dre's set, there was a hologram version of the late rapper Tupac Shakur, saying completely new dialogue, everything looking just like the guy, and 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 to be perfectly honest, I really don't know what to think about that. I'm assuming you guys know who Tupac is, but just in case if any of you guys don't know who Tupac is, Tupac was a legendary West Coast rapper who is really who was killed in around 1996. I can get the date wrong, so please correct me on that. Who was killed and slain on that year on one evening, and has since then has been noted and martyred as one of the greatest rappers in hip hop history. And has really become such an icon in the world of rap. And they and you know you know and going back to the hologram, um I have really mixed conflict feelings about that. I mean, on the one hand, it's very technologically impressive. Like, the resemblance is really uncanny, and like, it's really, it was very, very, a lot like Tupac. But on the other hand, I also have like this really sickening gut feeling of about that it's almost something about it, just almost spoke to kind of like exploitation in me. Like, you know, like having a dead person, or a dead or martyred artists. I mean, we've had countless of martyred musicians before, like Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, John Lennon, Kurt Cobain, and like, I mean, their past or their work is often exploited a lot. And I don't know about John Lennon, but correct me on that one. But the thing I have about the whole Tupac thing is that, while I do kind of like it, something about it just didn't sit well with me, and that's and that's with the fact that that, like I said before, it almost looked very exploitative of Tupac. And I mean, you can argue that like, well, they decided to bring that up, in order to revive his legacy, or to revive interest in Tupac, in order for his in order for his, not to have his legacy or his legendary music or who he was fade into obscurity, to the point that it's not within the conscious of the hip hop rap world anymore. And I can see the points of that argument. I can see why they, why people would want to reignite interest in Tupac Shakur. But the other argument that I have, the other problem I have with that, is that, okay, but did I learn anything remotely new about Tupac? Did I was I was I re was I did my was my interest reignited with this intense passionate re-interest in his music, to find out who he is? Am I enthralled? But did it enthrall me to kind of look more into the mysticism of Tupac, of who he was, of his of his not only his ability as a great lyricist and a great songwriter, but also as you know a cultural icon in the American consciousness. You know, I felt that the Hologram didn't really do any of that for me. I felt that the Hologram was more for show, or more for spectacle, and just more just you know I don't know, just almost as if, just to make a quick cash or something. And now there's even talks of taking the Hologram on tour with with the rest of them and whatnot. And I don't know, I have this really sickening feeling, almost in a way, of like, is reality and technology really going to become really blurred to the point that we don't really distinguish between what's real and what's not? Like and another thing, that about this whole hologram thing, is that what concerns me is that it might even hurt the legacy of Tupac rather than reignite interest in it. And that's a bit worrisome, because Tupac, has a really great legacy, enough as it is already, but to have this almost, this really technological replication of Tupac, almost made to believe that Tupac really is back again. It's it's like I said before, it's almost very exploitative, and it doesn't really represent who Tupac really was or really is. It just seemed show for me. It just really seemed like it's the equivalent of suddenly making a hologram of Kurt Cobain and Dave Grohl and Chris Novoselic going against their own wishes of respecting the memory of their friend, of their best friend, just to have a hologram that seems like their friend but isn't really there, and having people kind of sing along, and worship this person who has now by this point become a martyr, and just really worship something that's not really there. Now that you can argue with me about, we can go on another argument with that, but point is that my feelings about the Tupac thing is really exploitative. I really, I think that's the question that most of us have to walk away with, is that, is this really relevant? I mean, is the whole Tupac thing really, does it really pay tribute to the artist as respectable and as well and as beneficial to his already legendary legacy, and it's even especially as Tupac as a human being? That's I'll leave that. I'll just leave that with you guys, and take it as you will. And now the third thing that I want to announce really quickly before time runs out is my next discography review, and the next discography review of the band I'm going to review next is, drumroll please, Linkin Park. I am going to do a discography review of Linkin Park next. Their new album, Living Things, is going to be released later this June. So at the most, I want to get to that album by either late June or early July. So basically, I am going to start a discography review of Linkin Park. I am debating though whether I should do the Zero demo tape and Hybrid Theory EP before I really start on the rest of their albums. But I'll decide on that, and I'll get back to you guys on that. But that's pretty much it. Linkin Park is really going to be next. So thank you guys so much for having me here. Thanks so much for listening, and stay tuned. More is on the way after this. So, Mr. Music Fan, signing out. Have a nice day, guys. See you later.